one piece of work can have many different artistic intention, and there are many different goals and to the artist and the product that he or she creates. I for this short thing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have set for myself as an actor 6 different goals. And here I will be annotating and commenting on one of those, which is to form the connection with audiences. And do not, this is quite special, use the Y layer, do not require or even expect or I guess want the audiences to stay focused on the scene and the characters at all time. This is very important because my thing is inspired by the Holocaust, and I really don't expect my audiences to have a comprehend understanding on that. And if the audiences feels like they have the need or they have the obligation to connect themselves to the work, they're not gonna do that. But that sense of I have to do this will actually stop them from appreciating what is being presented. And I actually hope that it's not the event of the Holocaust itself, but more of the emotion of the character, which is something that can be shared across countries and across culture. And we hope that the emotion she possessed can inspire my audiences and maybe echo some of the past experiences my audience have. And so that's my ultimate goal. And I have done this. I have formed the connection at the very beginning. Right here, let's play the video. Tag.
Say, God.
So you can see how I was for a moment looking straight in my audience's eyes, and in the very next moment I looked up and looked to the sky where the god lives, I guess. And let's do this again.
Say.
So right here, you can see that my eyes are looking forward to the audience. I don't think that's that is right. And I'm making this eye contact to the audiences so that I let them know I am considering the presence of you and I do respect that. And that is a conversation from an actor to the audience. As to the character, for the character, her audience are other prisoners who sit beside her, and it's nighttime and she's telling the story of how the god is dead. And to be a good storyteller, to have your audiences intrigued by your story, you have to grab them at the first moment. So that very first eye contact I just made is one way that I formed connection. However, you do know that I did not develop any further on that connection. I just leave it as it is. Examples can be seen right after that. You see how at this stage my eye looked up, I was actually talking to, and then for a moment I looked to the side. The majority of the time I did look up because that's where God lives, and I am actually using this story to accuse God instead of telling the story of God's dad. And looking to the side is more about reassuring myself to restate what's being stated and to make sure of that. However, in the duration of it, I can even drag it a little further. I am constantly looking up, right? I did not at any point make a further eye contact to my audience so that they won't feel pressured as to forming a whatsoever strong connection to the character. And that is what my goal is, and I do think that I have achieved that goal quite successfully. There's second goal I really want to discuss right now is how I use the variation of tones to help me better convey my emotions. And for this, I really need to turn the volume up of the videos. Again, we are using the same exact video. And right, let me just get it. Here. We are using the same exact video. I will actually use this as a better example. This is actually the recording of one of my first trials actually performing, and understand I have read the script for quite a few times, so I do know the character, I do know the flow of emotion, the where each line goes, so there's no problem as to dealing with those things. And that is also very important, as I do believe I do see the differentiation in tones as a way. It's like music. It help to tell the story, and by using a variety of different tones and ways of speaking to better tell the story. So I really think that my script is quite poetic in some sense. There are sentences that would drag quite long and then even merge into the second sentence because it creates a natural flow. I guess it's a better word to, because that's like a poem. You don't just call it out very clear. You don't make crystal clear boundaries. You read it as it flows. So you can hear it a bit here.
And all we hear days and nights is melody on Christ every man.
So you can see right there, I can't really make any notes. I'll just have to tell it. I start with a very heavy and very exaggeration on the first few words, because that is, if you hear part of it in the nouns, you kind of get this central idea of what this is about. However, I quiet myself down. But then when I said praise, I really emphasize that because to the character, it is something that she does every single day, even multiple times every single day, and she really feels that she has been praying and praying and praying, but there's nothing coming back, and she has a strong feeling of that, and that's why she emphasized praise. because that is what cause of importance to her. And can really hear the variation of tones like a wave. It start high, go down a bit, and then back on a high note, and then come down quite a bit, and then go up. So I am really not trying to have my audiences understand my script words by words, because there's a lot of pathos in it, and there are a lot of personal emotions in it, and I really don't expect my audiences to fully comprehend that. But with this wave like voice, I can let my audiences know, even without really listening to the words, how I am emotionally struggling, and how I am not quite sure of what is happening, and I am really thinking of it as it goes. So the high notes are the parts where I'm certain, like praise. The character does pray every single day. The lower part are 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 all the cries echoing back? I don't know. The character doesn't know, and that's where I quiet down when she's not very sure. And I really think that the variation in tones, again, just like music, can really help convey the emotion. And right here, the emotion is clear. It's I'm not sure. Um, there's also a stark contrast in later part. I'll just um
Still see pings of light leaping like.
So this part I put emphasize on the first half of the sentence. I said everything pretty clear. That is because it is a strong phrase. It is something that calls for a meaning for the character. She has experienced light leaking from above. She has witnessed that, and she sees that as an evidence of God is alive. And she really wants to convince herself that God is alive. And that is why she used that tone, that emphasis on the whole sentence, to try and convince herself. And the last, I guess, goal I'll be discussing right now is really the primary goal of everything, is how is to tell the audiences that God is dead and we are on our own. This is not right. And this is really the where all of my goals come together, is to tell the story. Um, for the character, she is a storyteller, but for me as an actor, I have to tell the story of that character to my audiences. And the variation of tones is an expression of emotion, and the connection to the audience is a better way to transport that emotion to the audience, to form that connection. So with the tones, I have established a great change emotion. It varies. It is rich, and I have to package that and give it to my audience. And I want to clarify that the woman is not trying to convince others that God is dead. She is trying to convince others that God is not dead. And she is trying to encourage others to tell her that, because she just isn't sure. And she is almost convinced that God is dead, but she has this glimpse of hope. And that is why she is using such emotional and such rich text and ways of speaking. And yeah, that really is the sole purpose of my whole performance, to tell the audience, the goddess, that no matter who the audience is, no matter if they're in the real world or they're in the prison sitting next to my character,